Good morning, everyone, and a good Chodesh. We are continuing here in the words of the Horowitz Chaim in the Sefer HaMitzvos, and we're in the midst over here of litain, of helping a person load up their animal with a heavy burden. How you live fun of mitzvahs, prika mitzvahs te'ina. If you have in front of you two mitzvahs, one is prika, to remove the heavy load that's on someone's animal, and the other one is to help another person load up the burden on someone's animal. Prika kaidem. It should be obvious, says the Horowitz Chaim, that we do prika, we remove the heavy load first. Mishum tzar ba'alei chaim, because there is a commandment that we have to watch over the suffering of animals, and when an animal is getting crushed under the load of the burden that is on top of him, so therefore we have a mitzvah to rescue the animal from tzar ba'alei chaim, from his pain and suffering, and therefore remove it. Now says the Horowitz Chaim a fascinating thing. However, if the person who needs you to help him load up his animal is a sainus, someone that you despise, and the other person who needs you to unload his animal is an oyev, someone that you love, a friend of yours, mitzvah there is a mitzvah to help the person that you hate and despise to load up his animal first, and then you will help the other person unload the burden from his animal's back, in order that a person should subdue and overcome the evil inclination inside of him that is causing him to despise and hate this person that he sees over here. So the Sefer HaChinuch writes on these words that you see that although that tzar ba'alei chaim, that suffering of an animal is something that we're commanded to watch and to guard ourselves from doing, to make sure that we don't cause extra pain, but you're allowed to let an animal go through some kind of pain and suffering when I'm going to be the beneficiary. For example, how could you ever eat a steak? How could you eat a hamburger or a piece of chicken? The only way you can do it is by shechting, is by doing the ritual slaughtering. Certainly at the time of shechita, there's a pain that the animal is going through. But since that I am the beneficiary of the meat afterwards, I'm allowed to do that. So too over here, I'm allowed to let an animal get crushed, or at least to bear the burden of the heavy weight that's on its back. So I should be able to subdue my Yetzer Hara with the person that I hate, by helping him load up his animal. So one animal can suffer for my benefit in order that I should be able to undo a Yetzer Hara that is inside of myself and become a better person. The person that we're talking about over here that you hate, you saw this person do an avera, you saw him sin, you warned him, and he didn't stop. Now there's a mitzvah then to hate such a person. You saw him about to do a sin, you warned him he shouldn't do it, he said, I don't care, I'm doing it anyway. So he's a man who violates Torah, lahachis, almost really, it's really intentionally, and it's almost truly as a rebellious act against Hashem. However, nevertheless, still, you have to help him load up his animal or unload his animal. Because if he doesn't have, if you don't help him out over here, maybe there's gonna be some monetary loss. Maybe the animal's going to come to sakana, come to danger. It's fitting that you should help him. He still believes in Torah. Okay, he sinned. He didn't listen to you when you warned him. And therefore you have a mitzvah and you're allowed to hate him as a result. But nevertheless, the guy's still a yid. He made a mistake. Maybe he did tshuva, who knows? And therefore you have an obligation to come and help such a person. Even when it says loading up, that's done if the person pays you for it. But if he doesn't pay you, you're not obligated to help him load up his animal. So there's chesed. However, it must be more difficult to put up the heavy load onto an animal than to take it down, and therefore, if he doesn't pay you, you're not obligated to do this mitzvah. These two mitzvahs of unloading and loading, we keep them everywhere, all of the time. Men and women alike have an obligation to keep this mitzvah. And I would say that even in the case of Ti'ina, where you are helping him load up his animal, even if he doesn't give you money, you can still be a tzaddik, you can still be a Bal Chesed, and you can help another Yid in need load up his animals when necessary. Have a wonderful day and a wonderful Chodesh.